Downtown Springfield, a place to spend an evening with friends and meeting new people. From live music to a wide variety of restaurants, the heart of Springfield brings us to the square in the center. Keeping the heart beating is the theory of life.
The word ethic, the root of it is ethikos, which means theory of living in ancient Greek, loosely translated. And so when we had a theory of what we wanted to do in business, we were very specific about what we wanted to do with coffee and how we wanted to treat it on ourselves, but also how we wanted to source it and the importance of knowing where it came from. The importance of coffee and what it means to so many people that are involved in the economics of it meant to me that it needed to be done a certain way. Wanted to make sure that that everything that we were putting in the cup was high quality. We wanted to make sure that everybody along the coffee chain was well compensated, making sure that our customers were cared for in the shop and our baristas were cared for as employees and all the things like that. Environmentally, we were taking care of things as much as we can along the way, and as a small business, that's difficult to do because there's a lot of costs involved with that. But we tried to make decisions that would help lessen the impact that our business had, on the environment.
Some small businesses start quick, but the coffee ethic did not. It took some time for them. They began with only a few loyal customers at first, but kept those loyal customers and never fell back. They kept growing. Since December 7th, 2007, it was the coffee and ingenuity that kept their customers returning.
One thing about coffee shops is people are very loyal, and that's a great thing about them, and one thing I really appreciate, but coming into a market and being the new guy, it just takes a time for people to even figure out you're there, let alone come in and try you and understand what you're trying to do and say, yeah, this is my spot.
They use single origin. Simply put, one type of bean from one area of one farm, roasted one way. Tracing the single origin concept really started in 1999 when the Cup of Excellence was started and the focus on individual farms was for the first time highlighted and explained on a broad, multi-company scale. When buying from a single origin, you cut out the middleman. This is called direct trade coffee. The coffee ethic thrives on serving their customers the best, knowing the hard work that went into harvesting the coffee beans.
We got opportunities to meet we got to meet a lot of the farmers we worked with before in the past, and then we're going to have the opportunity later on to be able to work with them. You kind of get to see their aspect of it too, of taking the time to grow the trees, picking it, processing it, making sure it's shipped here where it's not getting in contact with like a smelly truck, or it's not going to be in all these different environments, and then getting it here, making sure that we're roasting it correctly, bringing out all the flavor details of each coffee that we're doing, and then making sure that we're brewing it correctly, making sure that we're serving it correctly. And so it's just kind of cool to see a seed that basically goes to like 14 different sets of hands at least, and then going to finally to a customer and them getting to enjoy it. It's just really kind of a gratifying experience. And so, especially for it being like a luxury that a lot of people are starting to appreciate more and more. And especially with the customer base that we have, is like we have people who are excited about that, like they want to know the quality, they want to know the history of it, and they super appreciate it, which has been great. And another reason why we love those drinks like the cappuccino and stuff, because those aren't drinks that smother the coffee. You're actually getting to experience what the hard work that was put into it, and also just to enjoy something that's, I guess, at a higher level.
There's almost like there's an algorithm to how you're doing it. So it's like you're pulling the tab a number of times to get exactly the right amount of espresso in there. You're tamping with exactly a certain number of pounds per square inch. And then you pull your shot and you can see physically like when the shot is going to taste good. So I'm really super interested in the science behind it. Because you know that you want between a 17 and a 22% extraction from all of the materials of the coffee. And then when you're making latte art, like, you know when your milk is perfect because it's at a certain temperature. You know that you've steamed it to a certain temperature. And then just as you pour, like, it's not that you have to have some kind of like idea of what you want to create in the end. Like if you were, painting something, it's just that you're following the steps to be able to make something that ends up being beautiful and delicious.
While many agree that making a good cup of espresso is an art within itself, latte art refers to the patterns made in the foam topping espresso drinks. This is a critical skill which takes years to master. Coffee Ethics baristas are able to make flower patterns, heart patterns, and leaf patterns with ease. Inspiration for this beauty comes from the environment of the shop itself. They wanted to create a specific environment for the customers. Coffee Ethic worked with creative designers and builders to create that different feel within the shop. There are no overstuffed chairs, but they use elements that were in the building. The brick and natural wood creates that unique feeling of the West Coast blended with Springfield. They took what was already there and made it their own. So what does the Coffee Ethic want to achieve? Is it supplying the need of coffee to others, or creating a relaxing hangout spot for Springfield? No, it goes back to the owner, Tom. He wanted to create an atmosphere of what it means to be a coffee shop that is different, but also the heart of Springfield.
Tom just demands excellence out of it, and he has a good way of just kind of building the team up to work for that without. He's not like an overlord, just like getting onto his design excellence. He's really good at just building everybody up, and I think customers see that too, and it just ends up being a perfect storm of what works together. So
It's ultimately the finished product that you're taking something from its most basic ingredients, and then you're creating something that people are enjoying. And then on top of it, it's making the connections that you do with people that come in all the time and making new friends and everything else.
Well, the most satisfying thing we get is, the thing about Springfield is it's definitely a Midwestern city. It's not very big as far as cities go, but there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of really positive things about Springfield, but some people come and they have a certain expectation of the city because of where it is, where it's located, how big it is. And we get a lot of comments that, wow, I didn't expect to find this place in Springfield.